Record highs are in the extended forecast. I actually have 5 records over the next 7 days. I'll talk about when to expect those coming up next. I've got record warmth in the next 7 days, and I'm not talking about just once. I have 5 records that could be broken in the next 7 days. I'll talk about when coming up. 84 degrees. That is in the extended forecast. I'm going to talk about when to expect this warmth coming up next. Scattered thunderstorms remain a part of our forecast, but things are really going to warm. I'm going to talk about when you're going to see 85 degrees coming up next. But don't be surprised if you see some rain outside in Louisville in the next couple of hours. I'm going to talk more about when the heat's going to take over and when the rain is going to come to an end in about 15 minutes. Thunderstorms are still part of the weekend forecast, but I think we're going to start to remove those, and I'll talk about what part of the weekend we will see less thunderstorms coming up next. Some thunderstorms are possible the next couple of days. I'm going to detail whether any of these could be severe coming up next. Now, I'll talk more about those rain chances because they're going to be on the rise coming up in about 15 minutes. I think you are going to need the umbrella this week, and I'll tell you when it's going to be necessary and whether we might see any severe weather with those storms coming up. You could see a freeze in your area a couple of times here in the next few days, and I'm going to talk about when to expect that coming up next. Have you pinned today?
Millions of people have. So what's behind all the interest in Pinterest, a new social networking site?
Well, we are going to see a warm-up actually in the extended forecast here. If you're a spring breaker hoping for some nice weather this weekend, part of it's good, part of it may contain some thunderstorms, and I'll give you more details coming up. There is a freeze warning in effect for the overnight hours, but things are going to warm up. I'll talk about when to expect 80 degrees coming up next. Obviously, there's some cold temperatures in the forecast, but how would you like an 80-degree reading? It's out there. I'll tell you when coming up next. Just a warm evening, and it's going to get a lot warmer, and I've got more details on that in 10 minutes. 68 degrees. We're going to see some really warm weather over the next 7 days. I'm going to talk about when to expect 80 coming up in a few minutes. Are you ready for high temperatures in the mid-80s? So it's in the forecast, and I'll talk about when you should expect that coming up next. At 72 degrees. Now, some of these thunderstorms could produce brief bursts of heavy rainfall, and I'll tell you when that's most likely coming up in about 10 minutes. Cooler air is absolutely moving into our area. I've got lows in the 30s now. I'm going to talk about whether this is going to stick around for your Easter egg hunt on Sunday coming up next. And points off to the south will remain under a severe thunderstorm watch through the evening hours. We'll have much more on the thunderstorms coming up in just about 10 minutes.